Well, Pacelli and Boomer, they're grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky Geezers, it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff that went through. From Atari to Trek, they know every line. Geeky Geezers, man, they're feeling just fine. Late Savvy's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky Geezers, they're the nerdiest crew, talking Transformers toys that twist and they turn, singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. Pacelli loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passion and both. From Betamax tapes to their old deep 20s, Geeky Geezers where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat, from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get told. Talking Ghostbusters, proton packs, toys in the box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rock. Pacelli and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky Geezers with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky Geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezers show, where Pacelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Pacelli and Boomer, forever they'll be. Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Aged Boomer. This is my co-host, Pacelli.
Hello, hello.
And this is my other co-host, Netter of Netter's Network.
Good evening.
Otherwise known as the Geezette. Good evening, yes. Welcome, everybody, to the not Valentine's Day, day after Valentine's Day. By the way, how was Saturday the 14th, the movie?
It was funny, although the ending was just beyond weird. I actually honestly got to the point where I wasn't understanding it. It felt like we don't know where to go from here, but the whole movie was actually pretty good. And it clocked in at an hour 15, so you can't beat it.
I want the cleaning monster.
Yeah, exactly right.
It was a monster that cleaned your house.
So what was happening was these monsters were getting out of a book that the kid found in the house. Right. And they were attacking people. They killed the next door policeman and somebody else, and they were terrorizing. But the only the kids were seeing them. Well, actually, one of the parents was bitten by a vampire. The other one was completely oblivious the whole time. And so so in order to be a part of that, the monsters were doing all kinds of stuff at night, raiding the refrigerator, and he'd come and he'd go, "Hey, what happened to the rest of my sandwich?" Stuff like that. Well, but all the messes were completely cleaned up to the point that everything was getting cleaned beyond the way they'd left it. So there was a monster going around cleaning everything, and Netter's like, well, that's not so bad.
Yeah, you know what? If you want to clean my kitchen, you can have the leftover pizza. That sort of
thing.
Right?
Yeah.
But hello, my geezer friends. Hope you guys are having a great show night. Wishing everyone a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Big O. I do have tomorrow off because it is President's Day.
Boom. There you go.
I know this. We have a lot of stories where you're running over, but if you want to head over to reserve seats. Oh, wait a minute! I got to be there at 11 because I'm on with deleted scenes tonight.
That's exactly right.
Channel, yes. Welcome, Connie Cleary. Good to see you. And let me see here. Storyman Jack, welcome. Howdy, friends. Okay. Well, welcome, Storyman Jack. And let's see who else is here. Oh, Tired Midnight Blogger, welcome. JPRPH1, welcome. Dpensec, welcome. Did I miss anybody here? Netters Network, welcome. Okay. Let's see here. Real White Nation Gaming Clips, welcome. And Susan Eckstein.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, thank you. And welcome here, number 13. Let's get these things used Fedora Mumbler logo. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we are. No worries. Take your time. I'm here for the full show. Just relax. We're going to end on time. I'm just messing with you. Anyway, that's my goal. If we miss anyway, so let's bring the presentation up because I have a good old days to talk about tonight.
Hopefully
you know this movie too, because we have some news later about this particular quote unquote franchise. Hollywood, not everything in your back catalog is a franchise with 6 seasons of movie and spin-off series. It just isn't. Sometimes a movie is just a movie. It's a one and done, and you don't have to keep pulling things out. You could just create something new, since it's what the writers want to do anyway, because they don't follow these. Let's move on. I'll get to that later. Moving on to The Burbs.
Oh my gosh. How do you make a series out of this? This is absolutely ridiculous.
It's a 90-minute movie.
Let's race and gender swap while we're at it too.
Well, yeah, I mean, nothing against Keke Palmer. I do like her, but it doesn't look like it's following the movie at all from the sound of it. So what are you doing? It's the name. It's the name. They want the name.
It's the name, and they own it, and they can do what they want with it. And we don't have to. We're going to make our own version of. No, you're not. You're just stealing a name and a concept.
It's a creepy house on a suburban block. I'm sorry, you didn't have to call it The Burbs. It could have been its own thing. It's like, come on. What is it? This is a man of, what does that say there?
He's a man of peace in a
savage land. A comedy about a nice guy who was pushed too far. That's not what this is about, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of false advertising. Now, I would argue if this is a comedy, Tom Hanks is playing, what do they call it? The straight man character?
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Character.
And let's be honest, it was not uncommon for and it's probably true now for marketing to kind of lie about what the movie was about, whether it was the taglines or the poster art or whatever the case is.
Yeah. I don't understand. Here's the plot line of this movie. Every neighborhood every neighborhood has a creepy house. This is that story, okay? Any city you grew up in, town you grew up in, there's that one house in town that's the creepy house that you don't want to go near, correct? Did you have that growing up? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's sort of what this movie is about.
And, of course, the weird thing about the creepy house for us was that it was on land that was owned by the park district.
Interesting.
So at Halloween time, they turned it into a haunted house.
Oh, an actual haunted house.
Yes.
And see, for me, the creepy house on the block, I used to go up to the door and ask the owner if they wanted me to help them with their grocery shopping every week.
Yeah.
Because she was just a nice lady that had a bunch of cats and was just a little weird, but I would stop by her house because it was like halfway between my house and the grocery store. And I'd ask her, it's like, do you need me to get anything from the store? I'm going that way. And, and sometimes she'd have me buy some cat food. Sometimes she'd have me buy something else. Usually it was cat food.
Yep.
And I'd get it. I'd bring it to her and head home. She's just a nice lady.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. And like I said, and this movie sort of plays with that maybe the real weirdos in the neighborhood aren't the weird neighbors. It's us, the ones who are peeking at them and stuff like that.
Right. That's fair.
But this is the plot of The Burbs. This had, in my opinion, one of the greatest intros of any movie, because you start out with the Universal Studios logo, right, with the globe circling Earth. And then suddenly the Universal logo goes away, but the globe is still there, and it circles around until it hits North America. And then you do a zoom in, and you're going through the atmosphere. You're going all the way down until you actually go to an aerial shot until it gets to ground level of this neighborhood. I remember being a kid thinking, how did they do that? That's what I was
Right.
thinking. And of course, you take the VHS tape, that's what we had at the time, and you would put it on the slow-mo. And I think as you went to this level, okay, they probably used some modeling and then they did a smooth transition to the actual place. But they probably tried to get the model as exact as they could, and then they kind of smoothed it. It was a very cool intro. Not something I would expect from an 80s comedy, though. But,
Right.
yeah, so you've seen this movie, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't remember it very well, but yeah.
It holds up. And let me just get the director. I believe it was Joe Dante, correct? If memory serves me.
If it wasn't, it should have been.
It was Joe Dante. Yes, Joe Dante. Very much has a horror vibe. Jerry Goldsmith did the score. We did watch this on Soundtracks of Birdman. I don't know that he was a fan of the movie, but he had the soundtrack. But this is Tom Hanks, and he plays what is it, Mark? Sorry, no, he plays. Sorry, not Mark. Ray Peterson in this movie, and he hears all this noise coming from the basement, like a transistor going off, right? And he goes over to investigate, and as soon as he steps one foot onto the property, the wind starts blowing at him, and like the leaves start circling around him, and he's it's like a warning, don't go there, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we get to the morning. So he's on summer vacation. That's when this movie is taking place. These are the different people of the neighborhood. There we have, look at that. We have a teenage at this point, Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Kind of playing the burnout neighbor who's his parents left on vacation, leaving him stuck to paint the house while they're gone, So he's goofing off. And let me see. And then you have Bruce Dern as the neighbor's last name's Mark. He's Mark Rumsfeld, and he's like a war veteran, probably Vietnam War, and I guess he's retired, but he's angry because the neighbor dog always poops on his lawn because he's trying to do that. And there's a scene in it where he goes, that piece of scumbark and rat of yours has just taken his last stump of my lawn. He does it again. I'm going to go over there and staple his eyes shut. And then as soon as he says that, you see in the window the dog run up to the window and starts barking back at him. And he's like, "I'll do it right now." And it's like, and his wife is trying to talk him down. And there's Art. That's Tom Hanks's neighbor. Ray's neighbor, and they're all suspicious about these neighbors called the Klopeks that moved in next door. Look at that. You see very suspicious looks in this movie. They're wondering what's going on. Except Corey Feldman, who's using all this for entertainment because he thinks it's funny. Let me see here, though. That's the neighbor with the dog.
And if I'm not mistaken, that glove that he was wearing there, that makes him super strong, and then he can punch out, interdimensional demons, right?
Very funny, man. No, there's nothing supernatural in this movie. There's enough sinister stuff in here. But of course, actually, I don't know, though. There's always talk in this movie about how they're just thinking these neighbors are Satanists or something, right? They're like,
Right.
they're looking up books on black masses and mutilations and things, and they're like, there's a scene in the movie where there's a wonderful scene where Ray is like, no, they're normal. Leave them alone. They just like to keep to themselves. But of course, then stuff happens during the movie that keeps making him increasingly suspicious. Like, by the way, there's one scene in it where one of the guys finally comes out of the house, to get the mail, and Art is telling Ray, go over and why don't you say hi to him? It says, well, he's busy. He's not busy. Go say hi to him. He's your neighbor. Well, he's your neighbor too. Yeah, but I live one over. You're right next door. And they arguing. And then he goes back in the house, and then he starts saying, "You look like a chicken in front of your son." And then like, okay, screw it. And then they all both went up there, and they both rang the doorbell. Well, first he knocks on the door, right? And then as soon as he knocks on the door, the address is 966, and then the 9 kind of flips over to 6, so now it's 666 on the thing, and then I think they keep knocking on the door, and then like I think something falls, and a bee's nest, a bee encroachment inside the house starts attacking. They get attacked by bees, and it's like this, like bad stuff just keeps happening to them in this movie. But Yeah, I don't know. The actor to the left, I forget his name. He reminds me of a John Candy style actor. Like I almost feel this part might have even been written for John Candy the way it was.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
get it. Sure, sure.
yeah, because he's always talking about wanting to eat food and stuff. And of course, this is a scene in the movie where the three of them are kind of spying as that young man comes out of the house and he drives the car from the garage to the end of the driveway, lifts out this huge garbage bag, like he's carrying it like there's a lot of stuff in there, and they sticks it in the can. It's too big for the can, and then he starts whacking the bag with a stick until it finally goes down, and then he puts the can over, and then Ray is like, I've never seen that before. I've never seen someone drive a bag of garbage down to the driveway and then whack the hell out of it with a stick. I've never seen that before. And you're thinking maybe there's a body in there, right? And it's
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. It was a fun movie. That's when they
One
find a. Go ahead.
I was just looking at the IMDb, and yeah, not only is this Joe Dante, but the Joe Dante standby Dick Miller does appear in the movie as well as in the role of the garbage man.
That's right. He is in this.
Mhm.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
hate to say this. I think Robert Picardo is the other garbage man in it too.
Yes, he is. I'd rather not
Yes,
talk too much
I,
about
I
him.
understand. Yeah.
Harry Gibson, of course. Anyone who remembers, well, just about anything from the 70s that was funny, he was in.
Is he the one that plays one of the neighbors? Doctor.
He plays Dr. Klopek.
The
Yeah.
doctor, the doctor, as they say,
Mhm.
yes. And of course, this is a scene where the dog was digging up near the edge of his fence, and it digs up this, and it's a femur. And he says, "Well,
Yeah.
so what? It's a femur. A femur is a human thigh bone, Ray."
Yeah.
Like where did? I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. There's Ruben. That's another one of the Klopeks. The Carrie Fisher plays Ray's wife in this, and she's like,
Yep.
"Look, you guys are acting like schoolboys. You're ridiculous. Just go over there. Let's introduce ourselves, and we'll just put all this to bed." And they have a nice little dinner. Of course, there's still suspicion. They think that their neighbor, the guy with the dog, disappeared, and they're thinking that maybe the Klopeks had something to do with it. And I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. There's Carrie Fisher right there. See,
Yep.
nice sundress. I don't know. I enjoy this movie a lot. I remember renting it from the video store right before I think I started the 7th grade. I remember that. This was back in '89. And it kind of felt like, in many respects, like one of the last childhood summers I fondly remember, because then you start middle school and everything kind of sucks. So
Yeah.
I just remember renting this movie, and I rented it toward the end of the summer. And I think, guys, it's one of the few VHS tapes I rented where I actually watched the thing twice after I had it out. I liked it that much. I was like, wow,
Mhm.
this is really cool. I have since got the Shout Factory Blu-ray of it, the special edition they put out. So it's just a classic Joe Dante movie. There's a lot of nice little touches, like when Ray increasingly becomes paranoid, he turns on the TV to get his mind off of things, right? And of course, he turns on, and first thing he sees is the human sacrifice from the movie Race with the Devil. He sees that scene, he changes the channel. Then it's The Exorcist. It's Linda Blair spitting up at the priest, the pea soup.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Changes the channel again, and it's Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's busting through the radio station. It's like he's saying, like he's just trying to calm down. But yeah.
Yeah.
And well, that's it though. Yeah, they decide that when the Klopeks go out for dinner, they're going to go investigate inside the house. And there's a wonderful line in this movie that I never understood before until I watched it this time around. I was watching where Carrie Fisher says, "Look, we're going to go talk to them before someone falls off a roof or sets themselves on fire." And I'm thinking, she's read the script, because that's what happens later in the movie. Someone falls off a roof and a house gets blown up. I don't think it completely
Yeah.
set on fire, but they get some smoke damage. Okay, and just it's a lot of fun. I recommend rewatching it. Actually, it's just a great classic '80s comedy with kind of a dark sense of humor to it. I guess I might call it a horror comedy, but anyway. I also watched Romance of the Stone last night. Did you remember that movie?
I do remember that one.
You
Yeah.
probably could have covered that, but oh well. Anyway, that's it for good old days tonight. Netta, have you ever seen The Burbs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also remember it being rather disturbing.
Yeah.
It's disturbing, but what I find interesting is you go through the whole movie and you realize that all this stuff he's getting angry about, you could argue it's all circumstantial, and the Klopeks are just, like, I mean, they're a little out of sorts because I guess they're from some Eastern European country that's never explained, or Germany or someplace like that. And it's like, I don't know. Anyway,
it was an interesting movie, but it's like I live in the burbs every day. There are always weird people around.
Yes, but I'm just saying back then, I don't know. It's like in the 80s, you had this image of the Leave It. In fact, that probably was the actual Leave It to Beaver Street in that movie because they always filmed on the Universal backlot,
Right.
the suburban neighborhood. And I think that was shot on, in fact, yeah, I think they even said they had to stop, the tours might be scheduled during filming. I think that was happening during the production, so they had to be careful. And that was and I think that was just the old classic Universal backlot neighborhood that they used in several movies. In fact, did they use that in Poltergeist, if I recall? Is that the same neighborhood they used in Poltergeist?
I'm not sure, actually.
It's actually pretty smart if you're making movies and TV shows, if you just build yourself a neighborhood just to shoot on that you can control on your lot, right? With fake houses and
exactly.
whatnot, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know. So unfortunately, we have some sad news tonight. I guess we could have done a Dawson's Creek retrospective, but here we are. James Van Der Beek, passed away, age 48. Charismatic actor who starred in the sense as the sensitive.
Mm-hmm. No, I was just going to say I had heard, almost a year ago, I think we mentioned that he was fighting cancer, and then he just kind of went quiet and went quietly, I guess.
Yeah, it's sad. I think we did do a story about him not doing too well, but last thing I'd seen him on regularly was CSI Cyber. That was the CSI spin-off show that was about them dealing with cyber criminals. Do you understand? It only lasted 2 seasons. Patricia Arquette was actually the lead on that show. But yeah, James Van Der Beek, the charismatic actor who starred as the sensitive and insecure Dawson Leary in the WB teen melodrama Dawson's Creek, lost his battle with colorectal cancer on Wednesday. He was 48. Our beloved James Van Der Beek passed peacefully this morning. His wife, Kimberly Van Der Beek, said in a statement, he met his final days with courage, faith, and grace. There is much to share regarding his wishes, love for humanity, and the sacredness of time. Those days will come. For now, we ask for peaceful privacy as we grieve our loving husband, father, son, brother, and friend. Father of 6 kids, Van Der Beek announced in November 2024 that he had been privately dealing with this diagnosis. It was stage 3 since August 2023. During 2 summer hiatuses from his hit series, Van Der Beek starred as principal Texas high school quarterback Jonathan Moxon in the Brian Robbins Helm Varsity Blues. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yes. And as the hedonistic Sean Bateman in Brady Easton Ellis's adaptation of The Rules of Attraction, written and directed by Roger Avery. It's funny, Roger Avery was on Joe Rogan recently talking about current Star Trek. His words were kind. Anyway, back to Van Der Beek, though. The Good Nature Connecticut
which probably would put him at odds with most of the people that have ever appeared in Star Trek, with the exception of maybe William Shatner.
Yes, I guess so. The Good Nature Connecticut native also played versions of himself in 2001's Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and 2019 Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, and for 2 seasons of the 2012 ABC sitcom Don't Trust the B something. Should I say biatch in Apartment 23? Okay, where he had...
I mean, it's your dream. You can say whatever you want. You know?
He had the self-assurance to portray an actor in decline. It's funny how James Van Der Beek would actually play as himself. And the idea was in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back was that the comic book versions of those characters, of course, were Bluntman and Chronic. And they were doing a movie version where they cast James Van Der Beek and Jason Mewes as those characters. And, of course, they were going there to stop the movie or something from being made. It was kind of an in-joke about Hollywood gets adaptations wrong of comic books back then. Back when we were allowed to say, people just understood that. Yeah. Van Der Beek had been directed by Edward Albee on a New York stage and had played a bully in the coming-of-age film Angus, 1995, when he was hired as a Steven Spielberg wannabe on Dawson's Creek, created by Kevin Williamson for Columbia TriStar Television. He was 20, portraying a 15-year-old. Set in the fictional town of Cape Side, Massachusetts, the show premiered as a mid-season replacement on January 20th, 1998, and ran for 6 seasons. The first 4 are set in Cape Side High, freshmen through seniors. through May 14th, 2003, Vanderbeek appeared on every one of the 128 episodes, as did Katie Holmes as Dawson's best friend and love interest Joey Potter, with Joshua
Mhm.
Jackson as another pal Pacey Witter, and Michelle Williams as next-door neighbor Jen
Yep.
Lidley, a transplanted New Yorker. They grew up together on the show. These characters speak very honestly about everything that 15-year-olds are waking up and dealing with every day: relationships, the opposite sex, parents, school, dreams, and aspirations, he said during a 1998 appearance on Live with Regis and Kathy Lee. That's a flashback, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Show was widely popular with younger viewers, girls in particular. Throughout the run, there was will they or won't they dynamics surrounding Dawson and Joey. In the end, it turns out Joey and Pacey who got together, and that's okay. I always thought it should have been Dawson and Jen, but apparently she got pregnant by a guy who dumped her, and then she died in childbirth, according to the finale. That's another thing. Anyway,
There you go.
did you ever watch Dawson's Creek?
I did. Not super avidly, but yeah, I did watch it.
I finally had to give up. I was hoping there was a thing introduced in season 2 that I thought would have spiced up the show. Like, I think it was going to be, was it Jen's, like a potential Jen's half sister that was a femme fatale foil for Dawson or something, and I think that was going on in season 2, and then they just dropped it, and I was like, oh, well, this could have gotten interesting, but oh well. But look, rest in peace, James Vanderbeek. I do feel terrible for him and his family, and we do have another story connected to this. You and I often talk about how we always think these Hollywood actors are rich and wealthy, right? Well, not necessarily, right?
One
James
thing that I've
Vanderbeek,
pointed out
best
is
friends lost. Yeah, go ahead.
one of the things that I've pointed out many times is that the job that actors do and why they're oftentimes going on strike is because they don't have the kinds of employment law in place that the average 9 to 5 type worker has. So they don't get like mandatory health care and I mean, there are certain things their unions have agreed to. Otherwise, the whole industry is going to shut down. But for the most part, they are considered to be contractors, independent contractors, and they've got to have their own insurance or plan or whatever. And some are better than others. And if you are, moderately wealthy, you have a decent amount of money from years of working and celebrity appearances and stuff like that, and you have a catastrophic illness, you can go through your savings, like nothing,
Yeah. And it's awful to hear this, because of course he's got a family he left behind too, 6 kids. I mean, this is just terrible. But apparently his friends launched a GoFundMe to financially support his wife and kids after the actor died Wednesday, 48. He'd been diagnosed with colorectal cancer in 2023, which a fundraiser that put significant financial strain on the family. By Wednesday evening, donations crossed the 1 million mark. And I know I often attack Hollywood celebrities and actors and people in Hollywood, but a lot of them did come through and help donate to this fund. So I will tip my hat to that. Even Spielberg, he gave 25,000. So that's, I mean, that's a good thing. So yeah. In the wake of this loss, though, Kimberly and the children are facing an uncertain future. The GoFundMe page reads: the cost of James' medical care and extended fight against cancer left the family out of funds. They are working hard to stay in their home to ensure the children can continue their education and maintain some stability during this incredibly difficult time. The support of friends, family, and the wider community will make a world of difference as they navigate the road ahead. Page also explains that all donations will be used to cover essential living expenses, pay bills, and support children's education. Within 2 hours of its creation, the fundraiser had already raised more than $200,000. Okay, so look, I wish that family.
I actually saw an updated article that said they had actually been able to collect over 2 million, but I don't know how much of that they actually get, how much their debt currently is, and like you said, 6 kids. So it sounds like a lot of money, but it may not be that much.
I mean, it's a lot, and I know hopefully the family still gets residuals from things like Dawson's Creek, but
sure.
I don't know. I feel like he should have had a wider career as well too. He did all right, but yeah, like I said, I did watch him on CSI Cyber, which was kind of interesting. It was one of the few shows that portrayed an adult having a family and sport, but he still liked to play video games in his spare time, and it wasn't considered weird or nerdy. They just let him do it on shows, so I thought that was
Right.
interesting. Of course, that got canceled after 2 seasons, and then CSI went on its hiatus until we got Vegas, and now that's been canceled. So, oh well. I miss CSI. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, though, rest in peace, Dawson Leary, aka James Vanderbeek. Oh, went too far. It's an anniversary.
Yep. Exciting, I guess. I mean, it's your thing, not so much mine.
Yeah, it is my thing because there was a.
This is the one with the wall chicken, right?
Yes, we'll get into
Pennsylvania,
that.
yeah,
Yes.
wall chicken.
Okay. Anyways, yes, I remember being a young boomer, quote unquote, on Christmas morning of 1989. We get a Nintendo Entertainment System, and I got a game with it. It was picked out for me, and it was called Castlevania 2: Simon's Quest. And that started my love of Castlevania, the series, the game series at least. And apparently Konami is paying attention. They have some stuff planned for its anniversary. Konami is celebrating the 40th anniversary of Castlevania series this year, and the celebration officially beginning today with the announcement of, we'll wait for that. Now, on the series anniversary page, the Castlevania production team has shared a special message confirming the doors of Castlevania have opened once more. It goes on to mention just how the beginning of numerous new products around Castlevania in the anniversary year. Here's the 40th anniversary message in full. The doors of Castlevania open once more. The light marks the 40th anniversary since the original Akumaju Dracula first saw the light of day. I believe that translates, don't quote me, to Demon Castle Dracula in Japanese. In the commemorative year, Castlevania will be revived. And first up is this title, Castlevania Belmont's Revenge. More on that in a minute. We couldn't think of okay. You know what? Screw it. Let's just get to the big announcement. Let's move on.
You're excited.
I'm a little bit. I am optimistic. Let me put it to you that way. Castlevania Belmont's Curse. I keep wanting to say Revenge. It's Castlevania Belmont's Reverse unveiled for Switch, launching in 2026. Also coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series console, and probably Steam as well. As part of the Castlevania 40th anniversary celebration, Konami announced Castlevania Belmont's Curse during the latest PlayStation State of Play broadcast. Evil Empire Motion Twin, known for Dead Cells and the Rogue Prince of Persia, are helping out with the development of the title, and it will be launching for multiple platforms, including the Switch in 2026. This 2D action exploration title will be set 23 years after Castlevania Dracula's Curse and follows the journey of Trevor Belmont's successor, which takes place in Paris in 1499. Of course, you'll also be armed with the legendary Holy Whip, the vampire killer, to deal with all sorts of beasts. Here are some more details via the official PlayStation blog about the game's weapons and abilities, as well as the new art style. Weapons and abilities, that's right. The series' iconic whip returns and is more important than ever. Crack your whip to move around freely like a trapeze artist and master its mechanics to get creative and pounce on your prey like a wolf in fast-paced combat. However, the whip is not the only tool at your disposal. There will be more weapons and abilities for you to master in today's reveal. You can see our hero use the sword, which is easy to use and offers solid attack power. There will be more weapons and abilities revealed in the future. You will need to strategically plan your next move in combat and make full use of the tools to stand a chance to save the city from the brink of destruction. You're saving Paris. True to the roots of the series, you will encounter colorful characters and powerful foes, stumble upon many secret chambers, dig up numerous hidden items. Yes, certain walls can be broken to reveal health-restoring meat items. It actually, in fact, they just made it look like a roast chicken in this game. I saw it in the preview. And whip your way through challenging areas. As example, did you spot the familiar zombie enemy in the trailer? They appear early in the game, and while they move slowly, making them easy to defeat, they can become troublesome in large numbers. In some other Konami news today, the company announced its anniversary celebration for Castlevania were just beginning, and also revealed a second Metal Gear Solid Master Collection for the Switch and Switch 2. So yeah, Konami had a lot of announcements recently. Castlevania spawned a million things. And this new game is coming out. Now, they're really keeping it under wraps. Who are you playing as? Because the trailer shows the King of France, someone from the King of France saying, we're sending a letter to you, Trevor Belmont. We need your help in our hour of need, basically, because we think that Castlevania, basically the castle of Count Dracula, is now orbiting Paris, which is interesting. So, but it looks like you're playing as a young woman, and I'm wondering, is this Trevor Belmont's daughter? Is this someone else? People were commenting how she looks a lot like Sonia Belmont, which was a Castlevania character that was decided a while back to not be canonical. But maybe this is their way of trying to bring her back in a different form. So I don't know. I'm very curious and optimistic about this. I was a big fan of the Igavania games. Iga, of course, left Konami to work on his own stuff, so I think maybe handing it to the Dead Cells people might be the best bet we have. Dead Cells was an indie game, and a while back, Konami allowed them to make an expansion for it that was based around Castlevania. They must have liked what they did enough that they're now giving them the reins to make a new Castlevania game. And it's even coming out for the Nintendo Switch, and I do own a Nintendo Switch, so as long as it runs well in it, I might be picking this up. So there we go. How about yourself?
Well, have I ever played? I don't think I've ever played the game. I've watched footage of it. I've never actually seen it.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I think too with this, it might also serve as an entry point for people who've never played one before too. So if you wanted to start with this one, because in a way they are kind of breathing new life into this series, and I'm kind of curious. Castlevania 3: Dracula's Curse is my favorite NES game, so I'm kind of curious that this is. What are my thoughts on the Netflix Castlevania series? Geek Flag, man, don't get me started. It's okay. I know it has its fans. I went on a rant a couple years ago, especially when they did the latest season, where they really did play fast and loose with the lore. I wish the games, the animated series, would stick closer to the lore, and I hope that whoever's in charge of this game sticks close to the lore. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that they are. I want to fight Dracula. He's the big baddie. Have him back. Okay, I know he's not always the villain and everything, but yeah. So I don't know. Fingers crossed. I think this will be good. But I'll wait and see how reviews come out. Oddly enough, there was no Switch 2 version announced, which people thought was puzzling. Why is this coming out on Switch 1 and not Switch 2? I'm not complaining because I don't plan on getting a Switch 2, and I'd rather just get it on something I own, because otherwise I can't play it. I can go out and buy the PlayStation 5 copy, but I don't have a PlayStation 5, so it's like, all right, as long as they don't go the way of Lords of Ash, don't bring up Lords of Shadow. That's another screw up. Oh, no. I wouldn't touch Lords of Shadow, and I know there were people who defended it when it came out. Castlevania Lords of Shadow, that was the other reboot they did of this series, and I'm not a fan. No, this looks like to be a full-on continuation of the original series. It looks like it takes place after Castlevania 3. It's set 23 years later after Castlevania 3. I assume Trevor Belmont is the middle age. I wonder if you'll get to play as him and this character in the game. Maybe he'll be like an unlockable and you can go through the game again as him. Because this character looks to be very fast, whereas typically in these Castlevania games, the male Belmonts move rather slowly. It's all that muscle they have on them, It makes you move slowly, right? So maybe they'll give you another chance to play as Trevor Belmont. But fingers crossed. I like I said, I'm optimistic. This looks promising. So yeah, vampires. Yes, It's funny how even though Dracula's the main baddie in this game, a lot of the foes you fight in these games tend not to be vampires. You fight Medusa. You fight Frankenstein monster, you fight mummies, you fight you fight all sorts of things in these games. Anyway, and it's going to have wall chicken, so y'all should be happy, right? So anyway. All right, but let's say you want to get a PS5 to play this game on. You have some options now, and if you live in England.
Oh boy.
Because why own a console when you can lease it? Sony-led program.
Well, because there's going to come a time when you can't own anything. Just saying.
Sony-led program offers PS5 rentals in the United Kingdom across 12, 24, or 36-month leases. Play has no limits, except if you're trying to buy a console. Amidst the dire wastelands of the tech industry, Sony has decided that enjoying its PlayStation 5 console should remain its top priority. Even if you can't pay for one outright, the company will now lease it to you every month with recurring payments thanks to a local collaboration with Raylo in the United Kingdom called Flex. Raylo is a tech subscription service in the UK that allows customers to lease all sorts of stuff, including TVs, phones, appliances, and consoles. This is a nightmare. This is a dystopia.
Yeah.
PS5s are already available on Raylo's site, but this new program in partnership with PlayStation Direct makes the process even more accessible. In fact, even this offer has been active since at least March 2025, so the company is simply re-advertising here. Instead of buying from third-party vendors or retailers like Amazon, you can buy PlayStation hardware directly from Sony via its online store. Every item sold here is authentic and official, adding another layer of legitimacy to the purchase. But you're not purchasing.
Nope.
Raylo's leasing partnership is limited to PlayStation UK. Oh, trust me, they're testing it out here.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before it comes here. Speaking of which, the offer includes 4 options: 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, and a definite rolling plan. The longest lease is the cheapest, starting at $9.95 per month for the base PlayStation 5 Slims across 36 months. The most expensive plan is the flexible one, where you pay a flat $19.50 per month for the same PS5 Slim and £37.49 per month, $56.06 for the 2 terabyte PlayStation Pro. Prices vary with hardware. I have a question how this leasing works, because I've never actually leased a vehicle. If you pay the amount that the console is worth, do they just let you keep the console?
That's if you are doing rent-a-center.
Yeah.
However,
there is such a thing as rent to own, but that's a separate agreement.
That's not what this is.
It's like when you lease a car.
Yeah.
Once you let's say that you lease a car and the price of the car would have been $30,000, and you lease the car for 3 years and it ends up being more than $30,000. They don't just give you the car so you paid it off. They then tell you, okay, now if you want to own the car, you have to pay this much more.
Right. It's now depreciated to this value. So if you want to buy it, you can buy it for this. But the way it's supposed to work with a lease, okay, put a pin in that, okay? The way it's supposed to work with a car is if you lease a car, you lease it for a year, maybe 2, and then you go, you know what? I want the newest model. So you go and you turn it in. And you just keep leasing a car continuously. See, and you always have a new car. And that's fine if you don't ever want to own the car, if you just, have to have the newest hotness all the time. That would be great for computers, right? If you could get a new computer every, 2 years,
yes.
3 years, whatever. But with consoles, I don't see them coming out often enough for that to have value. Especially with the concept of not being able to port games over to the new console and all the other problems with this whole console concept.
All right, so I need to explain to you the whole console concept as it worked back in the old days, all right?
Right.
The purpose of game consoles back in the old days, kids would go out and they'd ask their parents for a Nintendo because, frankly, they couldn't afford a high-end computer to play games on. And then the game companies, they would tend to tailor games for those consoles, and they would make unique experiences just for those consoles. There wasn't a lot of crossover between PC and Nintendo, except for the weird time we got King's Quest V on the NES. That's a topic for another time. Why did they port that to the NES? I saw what that looked like on PC. The graphics were not quite up to par on the NES. The game was the same, so I got to beat it. So that was kind of fun. But anyway, though, but the point is, though, the whole point of consoles is they're supposed to be able to be affordable. And I think they've forgotten this. Now they're treating these like you're buying a sports car. This is not a forward moving. How can I put this? There's no momentum here if they want to go down this route. I don't. I mean, the idea is it's supposed to be cheaper than playing games on PC, and I know they might argue, well, gaming on PC is going to become more expensive with all the RAM and all the else. But yeah, but again, though, this is not. In general, this is not becoming an affordable hobby anymore. So people just won't bother. I think. I mean, what's the point of leasing a game console? I don't understand this, and I'm terrified that I'm saying this now, and then 5 years from now it'll be the norm. People are like, well, what does it matter? I own nothing and I'm happy. It's like I'm worried.
But are you happy?
I'm worried.
The only convenience I could see to leasing a game console is if, like, you're a weekend dad and you don't want to own one because your kids only play it like once a month or however often they come over. It's like, so you lease it so that you can, or rent it. So it's like, my kids are coming over this weekend, I'm going to rent the console for them. Okay, they want to play this particular type of console. Yes. I'm going to get this one for the weekend, bring it back, on the Monday. Next time they come, I can maybe get a different console. That's the only upside I could see to it, which isn't for everybody.
Well, and to be fair, in the old days, like when Blockbuster was still a thing, you could go and rent a game console for a weekend. Like, they did offer that. And I just don't understand, though. I feel like I'm living in this weird alternate time period, because I remember when the PlayStation 3 came out, and I forgot what they were charging. Were they charging $400 or $500 for it? And the customer said, no, we're not paying that. And Sony suffered for a number of years, and then they redesigned it and called it the PlayStation 3 Slim, and then they were able to sell for $299.99, and then people started buying them. And I even bought one because I wanted to play that Batman Arkham Asylum game, but I was not going to pay $500 for a console, or even that. I'm like, there's certain, and I know we have inflation, but still, this is just getting prohibitively expensive, to the point now where the solution is to lease. And no, I think everything's just becoming too expensive these days. But this is a want, not a need. So pick up playing cards. I don't know.
According to my kids, I was a bad mom because I wouldn't buy them the newest and latest consoles for gameplay. Oh, it's like, dude, you're gonna play this for a couple of months, maybe. You're gonna get bored with it, and then this thing that I spent all this money on is just gonna sit here gathering dust. No, I'm not buying one. So it's like, apparently I was a bad mom because I wouldn't buy them this.
I was watching. They say that to you? Okay,
oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's like, how come you're not? Our friends have this and that. It's like, I don't have $500-600 or however much it costs to just blow on a game or a gaming console that you're going to be bored with in a couple of months. I mean, they showed it with because we had an.
Well, I have a question though. Didn't they? Why did they just get a part-time job or something and just save up for it on their own?
Because they were like 14 and 15 at the time.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
You could still get a job mowing lawns and delivering papers.
Maybe you can't do that now, but I know back in the day. I mean, or get a paper. I mean, that's what I did with the Super Nintendo. I was not expecting my parents to get me one because they got us the NES that was shared, and then they got me a TurboGrafx 16, and I'm like, I can't ask them to get on their console, even if it's as a birthday present. So I scrimped and saved my allowance money, and I did save up for one. It took me a few months, but I got there. And I was able to buy it because you learn responsibility. You learn that I have to.
Exactly.
These things aren't cheap. I remember. Like I said, sometimes I got burned on the things I would save up my allowance for. I'll go into that with the. In fact, we'll go into this if we have Michael back on, how we got things as children. We could talk about that. Remember renting a Sega because we all had the SNES. Well, that's the thing. I was lucky because my older brother had a Genesis and I got a Super Nintendo because we weren't going to buy the same console as the other person, and that way we would just play each other's games. So that's why I know both of those consoles pretty well. Had all sorts of fun with the godson bawling about his PlayStation in the woods. Then we could teach him fishing. Well, okay, I don't know what that means. That's kind of funny though. Anyway, though, do you think this is going to become a thing, leasing game consoles, though, that people are going to go for this?
I think this might be a test bed. They're going to see how this goes.
Can people just say no? Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I don't know. Can they? I mean, I question whether people can say no. It's like heroin addicts when it comes to some of this stuff. These people lining up to pay twice as much as they did previously for just a handful of these consoles, on Black Friday or whatever. It's like, you people are idiots, honestly.
It actually got better when they did online. That's how I got my Nintendo Switch. I got it during a Black Friday sale, which, of course, that was a funny experience. Did I ever tell you this experience? Best Buy, Nintendo Switch on sale that comes with Mario Kart for $2.99, right? You get it with the Mario Kart bundle. And I'm like, it's going to be a Black Friday sale. And I said, that means Sunday, a Black Friday week. And then I'm like, oh, and by Sunday, we really mean 11 p.m. the night before or something. That's when it rolled out. I was paying attention. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't get the deal,
Yeah. Well,
some positive news, though. If you have one of the consoles or a PC, you get to play John Wick.
Well, I like the fact that you said or PC, because that's the only way I would be playing this.
It's fine. I have nothing against PC. Except for my own personal use. But anyway, Keanu Reeves confirmed to star a new John Wick game from Saber Interactive. Saber Interactive has announced a new John Wick game featuring the voice and likeness of Keanu Reeves, as well as PlayStation 5. The game will be coming to PC and Xbox Series XS. I guess no Switch version. Okay. Though an official title as well as any sense of launch date are currently unknown. Creating collaboration with Saber Lionsgate and franchise director Chad Stahelski, the new untitled John Wick game will feature an original script set in the John Wick timeline and expanding on the franchise's intricate lore with familiar characters fans already know, as well as completely new ones. Saber's design will be faithful to the unique style and signature elements of series, including a distinct gung fu combat system, jaw-dropping camera. Is that what they call it in John Wick? Gun fu?
Gun fu is a generic term for a specialized gunfighting. It's also in Fallout 4 too.
I expect it's in John Woo movies as well. Yes, okay.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Okay, and Keanu Reeves will be playing the role of John Wick himself. I'm actually shocked they haven't done a big deal John Wick game yet. That seems obvious. Oh, Xbox does something similar to finance to own the Xbox Series X. Well, this is why I'm playing on last-gen consoles still. In fact, once the Nintendo Switch ceases to be manufactured, the original Nintendo Switch, I think I will officially be a full-on retro gamer because nothing I own will be currently produced. So, Janet Sim says you look beautiful tonight, Netters.
Thank you.
Okay. Speaking of, well, actually, there is no transition to this, but Disney Snow White flop exposed, Rachel Zegler controversy, ballooning budget, and box office collapse. Cost studio $170 million. We went briefly into this on Friday, remember?
Yes, we did.
You
should go check that out because I think it was a really, really good stream.
Yes. That was where we were doing the State of the Culture War, because frankly, we've been doing this for years now, and I'm like, where are we?
And honestly, this whole Snow White thing, it went on for so long. It's a bit of Schadenfreude. I mean, this kind of an article, we're sitting here going, "Yep, not surprised."
I think they would have lost less money if they just threw the crap on the screen that they had to begin with, instead of trying to save it, which they weren't able to do.
Yeah.
The financial fallout from Disney's live-action Snow White remake flop is finally coming into focus, and I believe this is from WW Pro, right? And the numbers are nothing short of catastrophic, according to new reporting from Forbes star contributor Carolyn Reed. The studio's controversial remake didn't just underperform, it cratered after ballooning production costs, weak box returns, and mounting controversy surrounding the lead star. The Snow White flop has resulted in an estimated $170 million loss for Disney for theatrical revenue alone. Add marketing into the mix, and this catastrophe becomes a box office apocalyptic event. And when you start digging into how it happened, the story gets even worse. Per financial filings tied to the film's United Kingdom production entity, Snow White racked up a staggering $336.5 million production costs, putting it in the same spending tier as major franchise tentpoles like Star Wars and Avengers films. While the newly surfaced filings shocked casual observers, the ballooning costs didn't catch everyone off guard. In fact, Reed highlighted that the industry analyst and YouTube commentator Valiant Renegade had already forecast the film's runaway spending years earlier, year, estimating that Disney's Snow White remake would land near the 300 million mark. As Reed noted, the projection wasn't exaggerated for shock value; it was actually conservative when faced with the actual cost. The final production filings ultimately rounded down to a number strikingly close to the estimate he made a year before year before the film even reached theaters. Reed also pointed out an important distinction often lost in online debate. Renegade referred to the film's total costs, not just its internal production budget or post-incentive net spend. That nuance matters, especially on a project plagued by setbacks. Problems started for Snow White long before the movie even hit theaters. The production was plagued by setbacks, including a destructive set fire during filming at Pinewood Studios and extensive reshoots that drove costs even higher. You think so?
I'm
Anyway, by mid-2022, before filming had officially wrapped, Disney had already spent over $183 million. Do you think she was lighting up a doobie and then she was worried about getting caught and just threw it?
I have no idea. But let me put it a different way. She was so destructive to this production. She literally or she figuratively set fire to it. So she may as well have literally done so as well.
Now, I have a theory about her and her attitude. In the past, stars usually have to become stars before they start spouting off their
rhetoric?
Yeah, exactly.
Opinion. The trouble with Rachel Zegler was she wasn't yet a star, so I'm wondering what was it. But didn't she get her start on social media, like as a YouTube star? In fact,
something like that. I don't know. Yes, and that could very well have contributed to it. You know, some of these young, naive people get an overbloated sense of self because of social media. But
yes, that's what I think might have happened here, because it didn't make any sense for her to be doing this.
That's where it might have started, but it goes farther than that. I think that she fell for the hype train that Hollywood decided to hitch to her. And she started to believe her own PR, which we could all see objectively was bullcrap. And it came back to bite her. You know, they
she
used
left
to
that
say,
match before they even started filming.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. They used to say that back in older, more golden era of Hollywood, the talents representation used to say never believe your own hype, you know, and I don't think anyone is telling these kids that anymore.
They're just all
She wasn't even a big YouTuber. She sent an audition video to Steven Spielberg and he played yeah, I know she was cast. Like I said, I don't know how she was doing from YouTube. That's why, because I didn't follow her channel, obviously, but I didn't know if maybe she had a following, and maybe that contributed to her having a bigger ego than she would have normally if she had just come in on, you know, like normal actors did. Box office collapse seals the film's fate. Despite massive investment, audiences simply didn't show up. Live action remake opened to about 87.3 million globally, already below studio projection. That places among the lowest grossing.
I got to interrupt you real quick here, Boomer. You're having some really bad rubber banding in your voice. You got the robot.
Sorry.
Going. So if there's anything you could do to clear up your bandwidth, try it.
Let me see if I can jump on a different network. Hold on.
There also seems to be a pause. Like I'll say something,
and it takes you a while to hear it. Yes.
Yeah. So something's
Hold on.
Not right.
Carry on without me. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
I'm going to do a restart. Okay. I'll do a hard restart.
Okay. That makes perfect sense.
Do you want to continue with this?
I'm going to do that. Yes, I will.
Thank you.
So I just want to take a look at the chat here. Did we say hi to Zootopia earlier? Hi, Zootopia. And Jamie Lynn is back. Welcome. So good to see you. Always happy to see you around. Yeah, I'm way back on the chats because I was kind of following along on the article up to this point. And I want to say hi to Hoot Owl. Is that Hoot Owl? Welcome.
Yes, those are O's. I typed it out.
There you go. Let's see. I just want to make sure I say hi to everyone who's here.
Did you say hi to Nate?
I was just about to. I was literally taking a breath to say hello to Geek Flag with Nate Knows. And
Hi,
now we are caught up. DEI gutted sensible business strategies through all ranks of entertainment. Yeah. And again, you always have to wonder how much these so-called useful idiots are actually aware of their role in what they are doing. You know, if anyone knows how a color revolution works, Mao's Great Leap Forward and all this kind of stuff, Alinsky's rules for radicals and so forth. You look at someone who's literally trying to undermine everything about this country and the culture, and you wonder, are you a useful idiot because you just believe what people tell you? Your handlers are telling you, not that you realize that that's what they are, or are you really, all for the revolution and you're all in and you're purposely playing these games? But honestly, it's just baffling that how many people have been saying about this movie for years. And I'm sorry, I think that Rachel Zegler should have kept her mouth shut. Yeah, exactly. And there was failures all around. The studio should have stepped in and said something. Her representation should have stepped in and said something. For crying out loud, her family should have said something. But, some people just can't be told. And, there's a follow-up article on this. I believe it's that Park Place is covering it. WD Pro mentioned it in one of his live shows recently, that her most recent film can't even get a distributor. So I'm sorry, her career, we've said her career is over, but we say that like what we really mean is it should be, but who knows with the way Hollywood is. Well, as it turns out, it looks like it literally is.
Oh, so you mean it's weird?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Welcome back, Age of Boomer. You're still showing a red
Is that bad?
exclamation point. Yeah, which means you have very little bandwidth. So
right,
let's see what happens.
Let me do one more thing. And
do you have like somebody like playing games over at your house or streaming high definition TV or something like that?
Playing games.
And second, Hollywood tends to agree. Oh, I should just bring these up when I read them, right? Hollywood tends to agree with me about Rachel being fired because she kept running her mouth about things, and I'm glad that Hollywood fired her. Sorry, but not sorry. Yeah, exactly. Somebody needs to tell Rachel Zegler that that's Hollywood, baby. I see what you did there. Very, very good. Okay, you look like you are doing better. I don't see the red exclamation point on your bandwidth symbol.
Let me know if that shows up. I moved the booster closer, so hopefully this is not going to be an issue going forward. So sorry about that.
Go.
Anyway,
no worries.
Okay. No worries. All right, I think we'll probably hear more about this.
I was just going to say we don't have to spend more time on her. She's already gotten more than enough attention. Her 15 minutes of fame is definitely over.
The Burbs.
Oh, yeah. Remember that movie? Oh, yeah, that's right. We just talked about it.
Hold on a second. Let me bring my notes back. But yeah, this is the new Peacock original series, The Burbs. It says Peacock original.
Mm-hmm.
That is Keke Palmer, I believe that's the actress's name. She was in Akeelah and the Bee, if you recall that movie at all.
I do
from
not.
back in the day.
Not at all. Mm-mm.
It's that she's a spelling bee contestant in
Okay.
that movie.
Was she a
Lawrence
good
Fishburne's her.
speller?
Yes, but then she's going up against the best spellers in the
Oh, I see.
country. Apparently, there's a televised event. And but here we go. The Burbs creator Celeste Huey shares how Dead to Me influenced the reviving of a classic comedy for the modern age, and it's no easy feat. Okay, hold on. But the series creator told Decider she took a different approach from Joe Dante's original 1989 comedy, The Burbs, by centering the story on an outsider entering Hinkley Hills instead of having the suburb turn on the outsider. I wanted to just center the story around a black woman entering a very white suburban environment and kind of also finding herself as a new mother, as a new wife, and kind of redefining her identity in a new space as she starts to unravel the mystery of the town.
Because of course she did, because there has just not been enough representation for certain groups. And, we need to make sure that, every film has that kind of representation. Just saying.
Yes. I'm just saying, well, it doesn't sound like the movie at all.
Yeah, exactly.
The movie's a comedy. I did turn it on to watch the first 15 minutes, and I just wasn't laughing. And I assumed this is supposed to be a comedy or comedic, but it wasn't hitting for me. So because I was just kind of curious. Starring the girl who tried to get Bill Murray canceled. Is that right? I didn't know that. Is that this lead actress or is that somebody else? I didn't know about that. So that's not good. But Peacock's new series, The Burbs, spins the murder mystery on its head. Yes. Kiki Palmer also says Samira, a new mom who moves with her husband back into childhood home in Hinkley Hills, where she quickly notices there's something amiss with the house next door. Her suspicion worsens when a creepy neighbor buys it and moves in, bringing a decades-old missing persons case back to light after it was seemingly swept under the rug. This sounds nothing like the movie. That's the only reason I bring it up. And I guess I bring the story up as to why does this exist?
Exactly. Well, probably because somebody's watching it, because they've got to support, I don't know, this person's view of representation.
I heard a rumor years ago they were going to make a series out of The Burbs. It was going to be an anthology series about a weird suburb and be the weird goings on in every house. That might have been interesting.
See, that sounds like it would have actually been cool. Yeah. If you're gonna change a premise, really change it in an interesting way.
Yeah. So they're going and making Get Out and slapping The Burbs on it. I guess I don't know. That was that movie about the creepy creepy white. That was the Jordan Peele movie years back. Mm-hmm. I'm not still roboting, am I?
No, you're fine.
Okay, good. All right. I'm just going to move on. David Boreanaz to star in NBC's Rockford Files reboot.
I would encourage everyone to take a look at the thumbnail for tonight's stream. I put up a side by side of David Boreanaz and James Garner, and I was like, I can totally see it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, again, I have to say though, it's we're dusting off no property and putting a new actor in it, but this might work. Yes. NBC's Rockford Files reboot has found its leading man. David Boreanaz has signed on to star in the pilot as Private Eye James Rockford. He'll take on a role made famous by James Garner in the original Rockford Files, which ran from 1974 to 1980 and continued later with several TV show movies. Boreanaz will also be a producer on the pilot. Okay. Is there a reason to be hopeful
smart
about
on
this?
his
Maybe?
part. Pardon me?
Did you used to watch this series? I'm curious.
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm. It's definitely one of those. Unfortunately, what I'm about to say is not going to make any sense to a certain younger demographic. But the Rockford Files had one of those theme tunes that you just knew. It was in your head. Heck, even if you didn't watch the show, you probably knew the theme tune. And I'm realizing more and more that concept of the theme tune or the theme song or whatever to TV shows, after like the late 80s, early 90s, they got shorter and shorter to the point that they don't exist. I mean, look at the theme tune from How I Met Your Mother. You know, it's a quick little 2-line stanza and it's done, and then it's right back to the show. And I don't think some shows even have theme tunes. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent, but the Rockford Files theme was definitely one of the classics.
My favorite was the original Equalizer theme. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I do.
Future Friday stream TV themes. I'm kidding, of course. Well, I'm saying that now.
No, I think that's actually a great idea. Don't be kidding. Yeah. Definitely.
All right. NBC ordered the pilot in January as part of a spate of pickups as the network stages its own mini revival of the traditional pilot season. NBC has ordered 8 episodes so far, up from just 3 last year. Does that mean they're trying to take TV seriously again? Since Peacock has not done anything in the streaming war, has it?
Not really. No. I
mean, when
but
we
then
talk
again,
about the
none
streaming
of
war,
them have.
Well, yeah, Paramount Plus has it, but
maybe Netflix.
Netflix won. Netflix is the winner.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, they were declared the
winner.
winner.
Well, we predicted that at the beginning too. We said, you know, if Disney did certain logical things, they would have been the winner. They absolutely did none of those things, and Netflix came out the winner as predicted.
Yes. So yeah, moving on to so I don't know. I have reason to be hopeful about this. He's been on shows in the past, like what is it? SEAL Team. I don't know if you watched that. He was on that.
Yep. I watched
Buffy.
every episode of Bones and Angel, and I have all of Angel and Buffy on DVD. We actually have some Bones on DVD too, I believe.
Bones holds up, I think.
Oh yeah, it does. I love
watching Bones.
Mm-hmm. Lynn Green says, I love Rockford almost as much as Maverick. Boom. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So we have this to look forward to. Hopefully they won't mess with the formula and they're just bringing things back to formula. I can tell you, Lynn, Revolution, by the time I finish Revolution, I have this trip in March to MegaCon. We will not be getting to Batman until after I get back. So, but good, you're on 73 pages away from finishing that book. Yes. So, and let's move on to, of course, the big news of the night. We have some more Highlander news.
Yes.
First look. What do you think?
I mean, at first I looked at this and I'm like, but he's not playing Superman. He's playing Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod. I can see it. Yes. Okay. I buy it. Yeah.
And let's be blunt. They probably want to change up his look as much as they can. They don't want him to look like Superman in a kilt, you know. I mean.
Well, true. And I could also see this and this is probably what it should have been in the original. I think it would be brilliant if in the old scenes, he does all the past, what do you call them? Flashback scenes with a beard. And then in the modern day, he's clean shaven, right?
Yeah. And that would make sense. Yeah. That to differentiate. Yeah. And,
that would be good storytelling, you know? I mean, maybe someone still does that, right?
Trying to remember what Lambert looked like. I know he had scruff going on in the flashbacks, right?
I think he had scruff going on all the time. So,
okay, well, there we go.
I'm not sure there was any differentiation based on that.
So let's get to this. John Wick director Chad Stahelski will be bringing the same brutality of the Baba Yaga franchise to his long-awaited reboot of the action fantasy cult classic Highlander. Good choice for director Bear, by the way.
Exactly.
New look behind the scenes of the highly anticipated project reveals Henry Cavill and Dave Bautista in the middle of a fight sequence, their characters anyway, with the footage showing both the titular or immortal warrior played by Cavill and his villainous immortal rival, the Kurgan, played by Bautista, come crashing down. A Highlander reboot has been in the works for so long that many wondered
Yeah.
whether the project had either been cursed or would have only been seen by actual mortals. Oh, that's funny because that's how long it takes to look them up.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
funny joke. I'm sorry. Development on the revival began way back in 2008 with Deadpool star Ryan Reynolds eyed for the lead. I like him, but
Wow.
he wouldn't have worked.
He would not have been a good casting for this. Yeah.
The idea of a possible curse continued after Cavill was injured while training for the Highlander, but the actor is now back and fighting fit as he battles for the quote-unquote prize. Directed by John Wicks, Chad Stahelski, and written by Kerry Williamson and Mike Finch, Highlander has amassed an all-star cast alongside Henry Cavill and Dave Bautista. The former Superman will reunite with his Man of Steel co-star Russell Crowe, who is expected to play the mentor character portrayed in the original film by Sean Connery. I think that works too. Russell Crowe as
It
Ramirez.
works. Yeah.
Yeah. With the rest of the class, including MCU alum Karen Gillian and Jimon Hansu, as well as Marissa Abella, Industry, Max Zhang, Blades of the Guardians, and Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice star Jeremy Irons. I suspect Irons, is he going to play another villain maybe in this? I don't know.
I wonder if they're going to... he could play another villain. He could be... they've got to be setting this up for potential sequels, so I wonder if they might be going with the concept of the Watchers.
They are. I think they are.
Which was introduced in the TV series. I was kind of wondering how far they would go with already established canon and how much they're going to break from it. Look, I've said this before, and it may not be a popular opinion, but I do feel there are some things they need to keep, and there are some things they absolutely should change.
Let me see. The latest footage comes amid Highlander, all of which reveal our best look yet at Henry Cavill's Connor McLeod and Dave Bautista as the Kurgan, who appears to have become a priest in this new take of the franchise. This new revealed look at Highlander clearly demonstrates that, much like the exploits of Keanu Reeves' dog-loving assassins, director Chad Stahelski will once again demonstrate the visceral wonders of stunts performed by professionals and well-choreographed fight sequences involving much practical work as possible. It could be he's just in disguise of a priest, but that would be interesting. Maybe he got a god complex or something, right? Because he's immortal.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Highlander does not yet have a release date, but will be released by Amazon MGM Studios, with plot details haven't been officially revealed. Reboot expected to follow a similar plot to the 86 original, which centers on swordsman Connor McLeod as he discovers he is one of a number of immortal warriors. After living somewhat peacefully for several centuries, McLeod settles in New York City and is soon dragged back on the battlefield when his greatest enemy returns to kill him. A leaked synopsis seemingly confirms this, while also hinting that the reboot will add details from Highlander the series. Centuries after his first death on a Scottish battlefield, immortal warrior Connor McLeod lives quietly in the modern world, haunted by loss and the endless cycle of violence among his kind. When the ruthless immortal Kurgan resurfaces, backed by a secret organization bent on unlocking the secret of eternal life, Connor is forced back into the game. So, is this the Watchers?
Yep.
Could they be supporting the Kurgan because they want him to be the last one so they can figure out what the secret of eternal life is or something? They're probably trying to study this stuff.
I would, if they're smart about it, they should be more subtle than that. They should say that there's different factions that have different, intentions.
Well, I talked last week about the Millennial Group and Millennium.
Maybe someday Ramirez will actually be Egyptian. Well, sure. They can get what's his name? The one from
what?
God, what's his name?
I don't know. The Mummy?
The guy who played in the Book of Eli.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Who was that actor?
Not Denzel Washington.
No, that was Denzel Washington. But yeah, he would actually be good too, because all Egyptians were black, right? Right? All Egyptians were black Africans, right?
I remembered, and I think this is probably more accurate. I think that what's his name, John Rice Davies was doing a thing on Egypt, and I think he finally broke down and said, "Look, they were probably a multicultural society, whereas you probably had different groups traversing through there, which
Oh no,
probably makes sense." Yes,
that would absolutely be true. But
yes,
just like Rome,
I know.
they were multicultural, but who was in
Who was in
charge
charge? Yes,
was
oh no, I
not
agree with you there.
multicultural,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. In fact, I think by the time we get to Cleopatra, though, she was of Greek descent because it was, or Macedonian, right? She was Alexander the Great's people, right? Because I
Yeah.
guess they had taken over Egypt at some point, and they were the ones in charge for a bit.
But that's very very contentious with the Afrocentrists out there.
Well, it was also contentious with the Egyptian government, so there.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I think this has the chance to be one of the better reboots coming out here. I suspect the director probably has a passion for the property.
I've
I
been
think
hearing a
Cavill's
lot of
right for the
people.
role. Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of people referring to this as John Wick with swords. I'm like, yeah. There's something to be said for that, you know.
But I want, not to say that the fighting in John Wick isn't elegant, but I want to see elegant swordplay in this movie. I want to see.
I agree,
yeah,
absolutely.
I want actual like sword fighters training these actors and how to do official. This is what we want to see. But
One thing that I thought was really interesting in John Wick is that hotel that they would
Yeah.
go to,
And the
they
lore
had-
behind all of that.
they had the rule that you don't fight anybody in this hotel. You do, you're out. And they didn't give a second chance.
There's another that you just made another parallel to Highlander. You don't fight on holy ground. That's one of the
Yeah.
rules.
Well, when
Yes.
that chick started trying to kill John Wick at the hotel, they later took her out and killed her
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, no, you
That's
were
the
fighting
Mm-hmm.
in the
We
hotel.
broke our rules. We break. Well,
This is how we kick out your membership.
right.
that was what's her name? Who was in the
Yes,
Wonder
it was.
Woman fight. Yes,
I'm
okay.
sure she has a name.
I'm so bad at this. I don't remember actor. She was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a bit too. I think she played Sparrow in that, or whatever they. You know what? I'm just mush tonight. Just it's the bandwidth that's messing with my head now too. Okay,
There it
moving
is.
on to.
I think everyone knows now that Age of Boomer is an AI. You know. So.
Yeah. How would you know? Except you actually met me in person, so I guess you had that, and you will again at the end of
He's
the
secretly
season.
dating Sophia.
Exactly.
So we all know who's secretly dating Sophia. It's AI Nate. I can't even yell at Nate because it was AI Nate that's dating her. So it's like yes. All right. Anyway, moving on to Motion Picture Association denounces Tom Cruise versus Brad Pitt AI fight. Kind of a preview for Friday. Don't tell me this is our last story. Anyway, let's get into this.
Well, this gives you a break before you have to be on another stream. So
That's true. But Hollywood's worst nightmare may have just arrived, and it came in the form of an AI-generated rooftop brawl between the two of the biggest movie stars on the planet. I did watch this. It was sent on X. I remember that. I sent you the link to that, remember?
yeah,
And I'm not going to say it was 100% convincing, but it was getting close. A viral AI video depicting Tom Cruise fighting Brad Pitt has sent shockwaves to the film industry, triggering the alarm bells from the powerful Motion Picture Association and raising new fears about the future of studio filmmaking. The clip was generated using Seedance 2.0, a new AI video model launched by Chinese tech giant ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok. And according to industry insiders, the AI represents a massive leap forward, particularly in areas where that once exposed AI's weaknesses, such as combat choreography, physics, interaction, and cinematic realism. In short, the tech just crossed the line Hollywood hoped would take years longer to reach. The MPA issues a blistering warning. The Motion Picture Association did not mince words in its response to the viral clip and the broader rollout of Seedance 2.0. In a statement, the organization warned that the platform is already operating at a scale that threatens copyright protections across the entertainment industry. In a single day, the Chinese AI service Seedance 2.0 is engaged in unauthorized use of U.S. copyright works on a massive scale. Yeah, that and it basically stole the souls of two of your biggest stars. I'm sorry.
Well,
No.
yeah.
An MP, a spokesperson said in a statement, by launching a service that operates without meaningful safeguards against infringement, BitDance is disregarding well-established copyright law that protects the rights of creators and underpins millions of American jobs. ByteDance,
Shocking that China would ignore copyright law. I mean, who could have guessed that they might do something?
think on this. You know how China's big on making their homegrown movies just to be shown there, and they don't like the American movies coming over here? Couldn't they theoretically have a movie with like a Chinese actor and then Tom Cruise AI speaking fluent Mandarin or Cantonese in the
Yep.
movie?
Yep.
And, and have that be a big seller over there? I didn't even think about that.
And this is something that I've been kind of indirectly saying for a long time. Yeah, you can go on strike and you can tell Hollywood they can't do this and they can't do that, and you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. But this genie is out of the bottle. People are going to be using your image whether you like it or not. There is no stopping it. So congratulations. You
know what? I think this message might send to Hollywood. I don't think they're going to go with it, but maybe you've gotten us so used to looking at computer animation for effects and other things on your screens that now this stuff is becoming passable. And maybe if they hadn't started going whole hog on that, I don't know.
That's an excellent point.
Because Tarantino never used CG in his movies, and maybe that's how they have to sell things going forward. I mean, I don't know. Like Hollywood has. The movie industry there have been upsets before. Remember what one of the earliest upsets was? It was this thing called the television set.
Yep.
Why do I got to pay for a ticket at
Well,
a movie theater? I can just catch it on TV.
And if you pay attention to history, which not enough people do, you know exactly how to combat these things. What do? You have to pivot. You've got to, you've got to move with the currents, and every step of the way has been, well, we got to differentiate ourselves now from television. We've got to make it a different experience. It's got to be a different enough thing that people will still want to do it. And it was still seen as, well, there was movies and then there was television, Now that has changed. So they need to up their game, but they're not doing that. They're bringing themselves down. Look, we've got The Mandalorian coming out, and it's literally just 2 hours of a streaming series.
Really? Because I thought it was 2 hours of them just on the carriage with the tauntauns in front of them.
Like a tauntaun. Yeah, exactly.
So stupid, that commercial. I finally watched it, the Super Bowl ad. They're so overconfident with themselves. They think that people are just going to run out to see this. And keep in mind, they're opening this thing up in May.
There was two fatal flaws with that commercial. First, that's the kind of commercial you do when you're not trying to build hype for your thing. You already know it's a done deal. That's when it's okay to have, C-3PO and Luke Skywalker show up on the Muppets. I mean, you don't need to do anything else to promote. Everyone's already going to go see the movie. The other thing is, that was a Christmas commercial. It was a parody of Budweiser commercials from the past. So it should have come out 3 months ago. You don't wait for that and put it out, throw it together last minute, for the Super Bowl.
So stupid. But anyway, this video that we're talking about here, though, was a result of a cinematic action featuring 2 A-list stars generated from a short text prompt that looks largely indistinguishable from studio-produced footage, and that's where the existential fear kicks in. If one creator can generate a convincing action scene today, what happens when they can generate an entire film tomorrow?
Yep.
They said that concern was echoed publicly by Deadpool writer Rhett Reese, who reacted to the clip with blunt pessimism about the future of the industry. I hate to say it, he said on X sharing the video, it's likely over for us.
I'll tell you. Well, fine. Just give up. Just don't even fight anymore. Look, it's something that I haven't said before. Two things happening in parallel could be related. You have all of these remakes, and every movie is the same, and every movie has the same fight choreography, and every movie has the same special effects. And if you have the wah sound in one trailer, you get the wah sound in another trailer. And it's all regurgitating the same stuff. And that is exactly where AI lives. Maybe if you start getting original and doing something that AI isn't doing, you'll have something. But as long as you're just going to keep doing what AI is doing, AI is a lot cheaper. They don't need you.
Do you know what AI can't do, or at least I don't think it could do? I think you need to start bringing proper comedies back to the big screen. We need comedies again, and stop being afraid of offending
And stop
everybody
being
with comedies.
offended, and when people are offended, say, oh, I'm sorry you're offended. Too bad. I made that joke for the people with a sense of humor.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, Motion Picture Association denounces Tom Cruise versus Brad Pitt AI fight. And we'll probably go into more of this on Friday. But you know what that line means? It's over for us. That reminds me of a scene in The Simpsons when Marge Simpson was on trial, and then the prosecuting, I guess the DA was saying, who's he asked the jury a question, who's more handsome, Tom Cruise or Mel Gibson? And he says, I'm willing to waste the jury's time having a battle about the super hunks. And then Lionel Hutz says, wow, he's going to win the trial judge. And then Marge is like, yeah. Mr. Hutz. That's when Marge gets sent to jail. Remember that? She gets sent to jail. And then everything in Springfield sort of falls apart because I guess Marge's influence in the town, the little things she did,
right,
like made like they couldn't afford to get a statue of Abraham Lincoln because the squares she made for the bake sale, the marshmallow squares she made for the bake sale weren't made, so they could only afford a statue of Jimmy Carter. And then the town rioted.
Oh, that's where the joke comes from. He's history's greatest.
Yeah, that's from that episode. Yeah, and that was all because Marge was in jail and couldn't make the marshmallow squares for the bake off. It was just bake sale. It was a funny episode. Reminds me how much I miss Phil Hartman. He was always the voice of the lawyer, Lionel Hutz.
Right. Yeah.
But for companies like, I know that this is where WW Pro and I maybe part ranks, but you might be more on his side here. Whereas if independent creators gain the ability to generate full-scale lightsaber duels, space battles, or cinematic character performances at home, the barrier separating fan productions from studio content could collapse overnight. As for companies like Disney, which tightly guard franchises like Star Wars, the prospect is deeply unsettling, because once audiences can get blockbuster quality spectacle from decentralized creators, the monopoly on visual storytelling disappears. Well, you know what doesn't disappear? Quality writing. And that's been part of the problem with Hollywood the past few years. We don't get quality writing.
And I'll go even further. They've got a lot of freaking nerve being, concerned that AI is going to steal their lightsaber choreography when they're literally stealing lightsaber choreography from fan films.
That were because the fans make the best stuff, as you say, but...
Yeah, exactly. They're literally doing it themselves. So, wow, if we don't give a crap that AI is doing it to you, you deserve it.
Say what you want about George Lucas, but I had a feeling instead of stealing the lightsaber choreography, he might have ended up wanting to adapt. He probably would have hired the people that made the fan film for Lucasfilm.
Right. Exactly.
And said, look, we like what you've done.
This was the brilliance. I mean, there's a lot of brilliance about George Lucas. And I'm critical of George Lucas,
so am I, but he does some things right, yes.
But he was great about the whole fan film thing. He would reach out and say, look, you can't make money off it. You can't do this. You can't do that. And then Lucasfilm starts this whole fan film award thing, and really worked with the fans on stuff like that. That did not continue under Disney. Not at all.
They use choreography, maybe not for the Acolyte, but no, the Star Wars prequels. Say what even if you didn't like them, the lightsaber choreography, those fight scenes was brilliant. They went all out with those fight scenes. They really did.
Yeah.
Reality studios must face the Cruise versus Pitt AI fight. Looks like a novelty clip on the surface, but inside Hollywood, it's been treated as a warning shot. The viral set of clips serve as a proof of concept demonstration that the filmmaking power once reserved for billion-dollar studios is rapidly becoming democratized. Like I said, it's about writing. Just good writing, hire good writers, and that'll be the big test, because that's the one thing you can't really replicate with AI, I think. You could probably replicate modern writing with AI, no problem.
Yeah.
I don't know though. But like I said, well, we're going to get into this Friday. We're going to have a bunch of AI stories.
Well, possibly. I may have a special.
Oh, that's right.
guest
I
this
forgot you
Friday.
mentioned. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies. Go ahead.
So I may have a special guest this Friday, so we may be changing up what the topic is going to be this Friday. I'll let you know probably within the next 24 to 48 hours, for sure. But yeah, if not, then the following week we're going to be giving you our update on AI. Yeah.
Right. We had talked about this immediately. Sorry, it slipped my mind. But yeah,
Mhm.
it'll be a great stream though if we get this guest though. So like I said, but
Mhm.
we will be.
Mhm.
I'm sure there'll be more talk about this. There'll be updates on this in the weeks to come. Because if you think this is the last clip made using this thing, you're
Oh,
out.
no.
No.
And here's the other very, very important thing. As I said to Storyman Jack at the beginning of the stream, in the chat, not but it's just like anything else. It's just a tool, and you use the right tool for the right job. And unfortunately, some of these so-called creatives tend to overuse tools. We've seen that with CG, right, where everything is CG. But the best stuff is an excellent combination of CG and AI, right? You don't have to look any farther than the Fallout TV series or the original Jurassic Park to find great blending together of practical and AI. A lot more practical than you realize, and you realize this could be. This is augmentative to CG. Is this AI? And I'm sorry, I think I just in the past couple sentences switched AI and CG, and I'm using them interchangeably. You almost could, but the important point is that yes, you can get realistic, very quick, very high resolution imagery of whoever your stars are that you've cast. I mean, everyone goes to the worst extreme, right? They always go to, oh, they're going to completely replace all actors with this. And yes, that is entirely a possibility if you don't make yourself so valuable you can't be replaced. But in the shorter term, this is a movie making tool that can and should be used. You should not completely vilify it, right? That's all I'm getting.
Yes.
At, so, all right, I'll
please
take a
leave
breath.
James
I'll calm
Vanderbeek
down.
alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of these creators are tools, says Lynn Green. That's kind of funny.
Well, yeah, I was thinking that as I was saying it, actually. But yeah, Lynn Green and I do kind of tend to be simpatico on a lot of topics, yes.
Geek Flag, no one's saying this. Hold on. Go in there. He's saying it's a tool and you use it well, all right?
Yeah.
You're saying that the
And in fact, he's done some things to help me out with my channel. And his knowledge of it is way better than mine. He does some things that are just great, and I'm able to take some of his stuff and even bump it up a little bit more with editing and so forth. Again, right tool for the right job, and usually it's not just one tool; it's multiple tools. I was talking to Boomer behind the scenes about a clip that's going around from the Neverending Story. Someone used AI to alter the scene of Atreyu trying to pull the, what was his name, Swiftwind or whatever, the horse in the that tragic scene. Make it, the horse gets the will to live and gets happy and pulls free, and it was really done well. In fact, it was done so well. I'm watching this very short clip and I'm like, I wonder, was that an alternate take? Oh, I see. This was AI. And I'm like, you know what? Just making little scenes like that, not whole movies, but just little scenes like that, that's going to be the way of the future for fan films. There are going to be and we already know some of the great fan films that are just a matter of people doing editing out there. Well, pretty soon they're just going to be taking out one scene and replacing it with another, and that can change the whole movie. You don't like an ending?
Epic
you
fight
can just
between.
Huh? Yeah.
Can we get Kermit and Big Bird fighting? Oh, can you hear me?
I'm thinking about that. I think there might be some better options here. Could we get Kermit? No. You know who I want to see? I want to see Grover versus Yoda. Think about it.
Okay.
And
Well,
then you know what? And then Miss Piggy comes in to break it up.
That would be funny. Yeah, I could see Yoda messing with one of his things and him going off, exploding off in a wrong direction or something, right?
Yep.
Oh, look at this. He just saw a short AI film on Twitter. Batman, Captain America.
Whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to.
It's all right.
I brought up the wrong one.
That's all right. Batman, Captain America, Superman, and Thor fighting. Okay. And Batman beat them all because he's Batman.
I saw a couple that were not good AI, but they had good moments in them. It was a diner scene of Adam West, Christopher Reeve, and Linda Carter as their characters coming together, just to have dinner together. And it was a good story idea. They looked great, but the talking and the acting was very robot,
Yeah.
And then I saw them do. We've seen the fan edit of the 1980s MCU with Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man and Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk and all that. And someone did it with using AI. And again, it was good, but inconsistent. So, I think fans are really doing some great stuff out there. In fact, was it you that sent it to me? Somebody tagged me on X just before we went live. It was, the meme of Anakin and Padme that's been going around forever, where he says something and she goes, "Oh, well, you mean such and such." And then he just looks at her and she goes, "You mean such and such, right?" Well, now they've done it where they just use AI so that it's an actual clip with their voices and not just a 4-panel, static image. And I'm like, brilliant. That is just brilliant. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't start, just like there's a meme, you can go and make your own meme from famous meme pictures. They're going to have, you can make your own meme with AI the same way. It's going to happen, I'm sure.
Okay. It won't be quite the same, though. Sometimes imitations make you more creative.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Anyway.
So,
okay.
Anyway,
so I guess we should wrap it up.
We should wrap it up because we were going to try to give you some time so that you can go get yourself a bite to eat and hit the restroom before you have to be on in 15 minutes. Now it's 15 minutes, so you don't have that much time. If you stay where you're at on this on my channel, I will be forwarding you over to deleted scenes. What's it called? Reserved seats, where his the seat is reserved tonight for this guy, Aged Boomer. And
yes, I will
Netter
be on
might
there.
also be setting it up on her channel.
I already did.
Okay, there you go. And so if you're on either of our channels, we will be forwarding you. And if you wanted to be forwarded by Aged Boomer himself, the host of this show,
I'm also
maybe you
simulcasting
guys
too,
should be subscribing to Aged Boomer so that he can get monetized, so that he can then forward you to other streams. He is criminally undersubbed, and please make sure you are subscribed to Aged Boomer.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then after, maybe you come back to my channel after Reserved Seats for the first part of the Marco Polo arc, reconstruction of Doctor Who from 1963.
Do they play Marco Polo in this episode?
Marco Polo.
Yeah.
They could.
So
Speaking of which, these lost episodes of Doctor Who, we'll probably mention this a little bit tonight, would probably benefit from being reconstructed using AI, since they are lost media.
It's a thought. Plus, they have the still shots. All right,
Exactly
y'all have. Well, this has been fun, and like I said, tune in shortly at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for reserved seats, and I will be on with deleted scenes.
And if you are on Age of Boomers channel right now, Deleted Scenes just dropped the link, so you could just go ahead and click on that. All right?
Gotcha. Sounds good. All right, y'all have a good week.
Take care,
and
everyone.
We'll schedule
Bye-bye.
next time.
Good night.
Good night.